Hey everybody, Wyduck here again, this time with a set of replays from a best of 5 series from the WCS America Season 2 playoffs. And in quarterfinal action here on Shir Vestige, we've got spawning in the top left as the red Zerg, we've got Team Acer's Scarlett. Scarlett is going to have her hands full as she is facing a very good player from Korea in the bottom right, spawning as the blue Terran, representing Team Evil Geniuses. It's Alive. Both these players are very good, so we should be up to our next in action. And Scarlett is one of those players that likes to get that creep spread. It does make it very, very interesting when she's able to see more than half the map. Alive will have to keep that creep spread contained if he wants to have a good chance in defeating his Zerg opponent. Now, something to note here on Shir Vestige, we do have 2 Xel'Naga towers near the center of the map, and they can play crucial roles at times, but the Xel'Naga tower, when you control it, it doesn't have enough vision to see the other Xel'Naga tower to see if someone's controlling it. So we'll have to pay attention to see if these will play a crucial role in this game. I suspect they may. Scarlett is going for hatchery first before pool. And very, very greedy by Alive, going for 14cc on the low ground, actually taking that SCV from that mineral line, still holding a blue mineral in his hand, and you'd like to think, you know, if he wasn't holding that SCV might be able to work twice as fast and get that command center up in half the time. But, you know, he's just hanging out. He's just going to be using one drill, and the other hand can just hold that crystal. So very interesting play by Alive, not afraid of Scarlett, thinking that Scarlett's going to be going something very conventional. And he's been right so far, as this pool is going up. Scarlett has yet to scout exactly what's going on. Scarlett's Overlord has just reached Alive's base, able to see that command center just now. So Scarlett knows there's not going to be any super early game pressure coming from that side of the map. So Scarlett can go into the macro game. That's kind of where she excels at. She's very good. She likes to play that longer game style. Alive does have the refinery up. And we'll be building 2 barracks, 2 Marines from that lone barracks currently, as both players are just settling into their economic game, not really building a lot of army units. We do have 2 Zerglings on the way from Scarlett, but not much else. Alive is going for the factory immediately after, and instead of building a bunker, he's actually starting that supply depot wall off at his natural. Almost all the time I see from Terran players, they just start building their bunker immediately, just in case a few Zerglings do want to run by. But Alive is opting for supply depot blockage instead, so interesting. And in fact, he's not even going to be building a bunker after that, so he must be very comfortable about what he saw from Scarlett's base. And he is right, there aren't that many army units. There's only 2 Zerglings on the field currently. And we do have 2 extractors coming up from Scarlett. She hasn't opted for her third yet. We're 5.5 minutes into the game. And one of the interesting builds, or more popular builds from Zerg players, is when you see that early command center from a Terran player, sometimes Zerg players like to opt for that third quick hatchery. Scarlett is not doing that. But I do like the fact that she is getting a creep tumor in her main base to connect the bases between her main and her natural. I've seen a lot of times from certain Zerg players, they don't like to have that much creep spread. And sometimes if there is an attack or a Hellion harass, for example, and you need to transfer the queens between the bases to protect the drones, because there's no creep spread, the queens are just so much slower. And interesting, this creep tumor is actually going to be covering more and more creep around her main instead of going down the ramp. So I guess Scarlett wants to have more vision around, because actually on the edge, if the medevac is placed perfectly, she might not be able to see it. So interesting play from Scarlett. And there we go. Scarlett is known for her creep spread, and we've got lots of creep spread. One of the active creep tumors is going to be micro to be canceled by Scarlett, so good play by Scarlett saving that creep tumor instead of it going down to the Hellions for nothing. So just cancel it and then shoot it out again. So Scarlett's creep spread is very good in this game. We're 7 minutes in, and she's already almost connected to her third base. Circling speed is half completed, and she also does have 1-1 on the way. Now, Alive only has one engineering bay, and so the upgrade advantage will eventually shift to Scarlett as she has 2 evolution chambers. The 4 Hellions are going to head to the third base of Scarlett and try and poke around, but there's no drones there, so minimal damage was done. And once again, look at all these active creep tumors just spreading so quickly. And not forgetting about the 1 inner base either. And with 1 more creep tumor, I think Scarlett can see the entirety of her base, so there would be no surprise ninja drops here. This is one of the positions where Terrans can drop and you can't see it. Hellions are going to come in for another run by. We've got 6 Hellions here, but there is a Spine Crawler, and we got 2 evolution chambers really blocking access to the natural. So these Hellions from Alive are not going to be able to do too much. And with the Queens and the Zerglings just patrolling between the natural and the third, the Hellions are going to come by for another flyby attack, but it's going to be thwarted again. It looks like one of the creep tumors is taken out, but that's okay. Scarlett will just put down 2 more active ones. Able to burn down 1 Zergling. Wow, and it's still burning. Lots of cinders for that Zergling. And Alive will be getting his 3rd command center. But Scarlett's creep spread is just immaculate. Look at the 9.5 minute mark. She's basically a third way to Alive's base, and she just has so many active creep tumors that even if Alive is able to take off 1, and in fact he targeted down his SCV to try and kill with splash damage, that creep tumor is still alive, and he'll lose an SCV too, so not a great trade for Alive. But as I was saying, even if you take down some of these creep tumors, there's just so many more. And one of the things that players don't really think about is when you have so much creep, your queens can be offensive and defensive units instead of just being defensive. But Alive is going to push in here with a lot of stimmed Marines and Marauders. No combat shields yet, but stim is much more important. We've got a couple Banelings morphing in the back. We got about 10 coming in now, but all these drones at the third are under fire. The Banelings and Zerglings are going to rush in here, but a bulk of Alive's army is still alive. Scarlett has a 20 supply disadvantage, and now the Banelings are going to be rolling in here. Alive needs to split these units well. Instead, he's going to lift up and boost away with his medevacs. That's a very good choice. He's going to split his attacking force. So 1 at the natural, 1 at the third. And now these Zerglings can't get a great surround because they're protected by the extractors. And the Marines are still gunning around and killing drones, stimming up and having a good time. And the second medevac is going to reinforce with the other Marines and Marauders. But most of the Marines are blown up by that green acidy juice. But great microing by Alive and still keeping a lot of these forces alive. He's still got about 3 Marauders and 3 Marines. The Zerglings are going to come in here and clean up the rest, it looks like. But there's a lot of losses for Alive. But even more for Scarlett. You take a look at resources lost. Scarlett has lost almost twice as many resources as our Terran player. So great drops by Alive, doing a lot of economic damage and destroying a lot of units. Killing 18 drones. That's nothing to scoff at. We do have the Mutalisk out now, but there's only 1. The creep spread is 40% across the map, almost halfway now. So even though Scarlett's been under a lot of pressure the last few minutes, she's been continuing that creep spread, and Alive hasn't really cleaned up any of it. So he's got to start cleaning up some of it, otherwise he's going to have some problems. Now the Marines are going to stem in here, able to take off 1 creep tumor. But just going to stem across the field, it looks like. He's not cleaning up anything. We also got to drop in the main. 8 Marines are cleaning up quite a few of the drones, but able to pick off that Queen. We've got Mutalisk reinforcing in here, but Mutalisks are not very good against stim Marines. At the same time, we still have that small attack force over to the right of the map. But the main is the main concern for Scarlett. Alive is going to boost away, but still got 4 Marines there, and now Scarlett's third is under pressure. There's only a lone Spine Crawler here. We've got some Banelings retreating. But Alive is going to think better of it and pick up and boost away, but still harassing the main with 2 Marines. And finally, these Marines and the medevac will get finished off. But once again, great drops by Alive, doing a lot of damage, able to pick off another, whoa, 31 drones in total. That's a lot of drones to lose. Alive is going to put down a scan and clean up a lot of that gunk, unable to clean up this one active creep tumor, so Scarlett very fortunate there. But Scarlett is going to be moving across the map, it looks like. She's tired of playing defensive, and remember, with all this creep, she's just really, really fast with her units. And I did not know that the creep tumor can actually place a creep tumor beyond the barrier. So that is an interesting note. I've never seen that before. The Queen is going to go down. Alive is focusing on more Marines, more Marauders, and also Drilling Claws for his Widow Mines. He's also getting +3 attack and +2 armor. So he does seem to have very good upgrades. But Scarlett is slightly ahead, like I mentioned before. This medevac is going to try and boost away from these Mutalisks. But there's just too many Mutalisks here. These 5 Marines are going to be finished off very easily. This medevac will also be destroyed. No boosting afterburners remaining in that medevac. And even though Alive was able to clean up this creep tumor here, look at where the creep is. Halfway across the map, Scarlett is able to see the entire attacking force, all the medevacs, the exact positioning of the Terran Armada. Scarlett is retreating temporarily, and that's not necessarily a bad idea. We've got to drop in the main, right in between the natural and the main. The Zerglings are coming in here, trying to poke away at these Marines. The Queen was able to take down the medevac. That should make the Marines a lot easier to kill, but we've still got 3 Marines in here firing on that infestation pit. Scarlett's got reinforced in here, and these 2 Marines are still going to town, but we've got a large engagement in the middle of the map. Banelings are rolling in. The splits are going on for Alive. He needs to get better splits, otherwise he's going to lose lots of Marines. Ah, great Baneling connection, losing about 10 Marines, and now the supplies are evening out. Alive was ahead slightly, but now Scarlett is ahead and able to deal with that incursion at her main as well, so just cleaning up all around the map is Scarlett. Now, Alive does have his 3rd base, but Scarlett has her 4th already put down, and getting 2 extractors up soon as well. So Scarlett is in a very good position here. Supplies are even, and she's able to see so much of the map, like I mentioned before, and now she's actually going to go for a 5th. And now it is up to Alive to clean up 1 or 2 of these bases, because if you let the Zerg just get so many more bases than you, you're going to be in a lot of problems. We got 1 medevac on the left side of the map looking for a drop. The Widow Mine is not going to get a connection off. That's very strange. I thought it would have activated. But the medevac is on the left side of the map. But I like the fact that Scarlett does have overlords in certain key positions over that airspace, able to see medevacs and things like that. But this medevac looks like it was undetected. We do have a spine crawler and a few Zerglings reinforcing that position at the main base anyways. Medevac is going to boost across and drop behind that mineral line. Actually, might focus down on that spire. No, going to pick off a few drones. Never a bad decision to kill drones. So 3 drones do go down there. But the Zerglings are going to rush in here. We also got a Queen as well reinforcing this position. The Mutalisks are going to counter-harass. So Alive is going to boost across the map from the main, maybe drop off into the natural. Yes, that's what we're going to have. But at the same time, Scarlett is in the main production area of Alive. But the Marines are going to scare away at least temporarily. We still got the attack going on here. Picking up away from those Zerglings is that medevac. And that's one of the advantages. If you know the Mutalisks are halfway across the map, you can just constantly poke away with 1 lone medevac. And Alive is going to go for a counter, targeting down Scarlett's 4th. Now, this choke area is very small, so it has to be very careful because Banelings can get really awesome connections. These Marines are surrounded, so they get picked up by the medevacs. They're going to try and boost away. At the same time, this pack of Marines in the main is wreaking havoc, able to destroy a lot of drones, focusing down on the extractor and that spire. But the main confrontation is on Alive's side of the map, so even though he's doing a lot of damage, those Banelings seem to be doing more. The Mutalisks are focusing down on those Marines, but Scarlett is going to retreat. Once again, the supplies are very even, at about 120 each, but this pack of Marines is still alive. Scarlett is just sending a few Zerglings in at a time to try and deal with this attack force, but that is not going to bode very well for the Zerglings. Finally, the medevac does go down, and finally Scarlett will clean up that attack force, but she did lose her spire, so that was a great drop by Alive. But remember, Scarlett does have her 5th base up, even though she's not really mining from it. And we've got a command center floating, actually, from Alive. I'm not sure where this is going. The pilot of that command center has gone crazy. And now that command center is going to actually be drifting back. It could have landed by now, so very strange play by Alive. But the Mutalists are harassing the production facilities again, taking down key reactors. And when you're able to kill a reactor, it's just like killing a barracks. So it's very, very good if you can kill reactors. They're a lot weaker than barracks. At the same time, we've got a counterattack from Alive with a drop. But the Mutalists from Scarlett are just going to wreak havoc on all these SCVs. Able to kill 6 currently. Salvaging that lone bunker is Alive, but Alive's lone Marines in certain positions cannot deal with so many Mutalists. And we've got a huge attack at the 4th base. The transfuse does go down, but it cannot save the hatchery. The medevacs are going to boost away. And at the same time, we've got 2 Marines in the main. So we got drops everywhere around the map. Alive is constantly being very aggressive, but it looks like there's not much left for harassment from Alive. And it looks like maybe these Mutalists might be able to harass, but no. Alive is in the middle of the map with a whole bunch of stimmed Marines. So Scarlett's going to think better of it. And finally clean up that attack force in the main. Not able to get that medevac. It is going to boost away. But even though Scarlett's 4th did go down, she still has her 5th hatchery up. She only has 2 drones here. But this is a likely place and logical for a counterattack from Alive. What will Alive do? In fact, Scarlett is going to be the aggressor. You're trying to attack Alive's 4th, but the Marines are already in position and going to scare away those Mutalists very easily. But if you take a look at supplies, Scarlett is at 200 almost. She's almost maxed out, while Alive only has 163. So that's going to be a problem. That Widowmine has 21 kills, but that's not the main story right now. We've got a whole bunch of stimmed Marines heading into Scarlett's 5th. She's going to be able to hold this off temporarily. Marines are going to retreat, at least off the creep. Zerglings are also going to withdraw, and Scarlett is not controlling those Mutalists and losing 3 for the price of nothing. That's a bad trade for her. Alive has 1 lone Marauder killing drones as well at her 3rd base. So Alive is just constantly harassing everywhere around the map. Another drop at Scarlett's 5th, but this is going to get cleaned up pretty handedly. Finally, that Marauder is cleaned up at the 3rd of Scarlett. But Alive is just everywhere and now in the center of the map as well. But he knows the key is he'll need to finish off one of these bases. Otherwise, Scarlett is just going to power ahead economically. And that spells disaster, especially for Terrans. Finally, one of the middle mines does get cleaned up. But this Widow Mine here still has 21 kills and is still active. And that's one of the horrible things about playing against mines. Is that sometimes you have so much stuff going on, you're not able to focus on what is going on. And so, on your mini-map, it says something is under attack, but you're not sure what. And this is one of those cases where that Widow Mine is still alive. Spine Crawlers are coming up, but they're not going to finish, it looks like. But we've got a whole bunch of Mutalists coming in here, and they look like the Spine Crawlers will finish. All the Marines are cleaned up, but a couple of the Mutalists do go down. Finally, that 21-kill Widow Mine is finished. At the same time, we've got Ultralists stampeding in here across the map. The Widow Mine does get a connection. Another one able to kill a few Zerglings. So these Widow Mines are doing very good work. They got 38 kills amongst the 3 of them. So very good for Alive. And actually, he's ahead in supply at least slightly. Scan does go down, able to clean up. No creep tumors, though. Just spotting where the army is. Scarlett has to be careful here. She gets the fungal growth down. And, oh my gosh, an awesome Baneling connection. We'll have to see that again at the end of the game. And now the Mutalists are able to attack Alive's main productions area as that attack was thwarted at the 5th of Scarlett's base. The Mutalists are just in here unopposed. And even though Marines are very good against Mutalists, you have to remember when they come out 1 or 2 at a time, 10 Mutalists on 1 or 2 Marines, it doesn't matter how much stim they have, they're not going to do very well. And so Alive is going to be coming back, it looks like. But the Mutalist damage has been done. It looks like 2 barracks did go down. A 3rd one is burning currently. So if Fly doesn't repair it, a 3rd barracks will burn down. And that's one of the most annoying things as a Terran player, watching your buildings burn. But Alive will get an SCV there, but it won't be enough. The Mutalists do come in for another swing attack. Finishes off that barracks. But we got lots of mines close to Scarlett's 5th. And if she's not careful, they're losing another Mutalist to a Widow Mine. Scarlett does have a few Overseers here trying to clean up those Widow Mines. Widow Mines are just devastating against Mutalists because they always kill at least 1 if they activate, and then they do splash damage to the rest. So if you get 2 or 3 Widow Mines in succession, it can kill an entire pack of Mutalists. Again, the Widow Mines do activate, but Scarlett is microing, picking off those Widow Mines one by one, so good micro by Scarlett. And now Alive really hasn't harassed or dropped anywhere, and now we've got Broodlords on the field. We really don't have that many Vikings. In fact, there is one in production, but we don't actually have any Vikings currently on the field. So this can be the time for Scarlett to run in here and do some damage using those Broodlings as cover. That Widow Mine is not finished yet, so maybe that Widow Mine might do some damage later. Now, Alive is maxed out, but he really needs a 5th base as the minerals are almost out at his 4th. They're almost out at his 3rd as well. And then Widow Mine looks like it's going to get another activation. Is it going to kill anything? No, it's not. We've got to drop at the 5th for Scarlett, but it's not successful, so Alive is going to move away and drop into the main instead. Maybe kill off some key structures. Not a bad idea. But he's not microing the medevacs currently. In fact, he's focusing on the middle of the map, trying to micro against these Broodlords. Finally going to drop here, but the Zerglings have already reinforced the main position. Alive needs to pay attention, otherwise he'll lose this entire attacking, harassing force. But he's got so much on his mind. 2 great Fungal Growths do go down, and now the Broodlords are sending down Broodlings, raining down on this Terran army. The Ultralisks are very, very good against Terran bio units as long as they cannot kite away. And this is the situation. We got so many Fungal Growths going down. We still got 4 Broodlords here. The Marines are stimming in here, able to pick off a couple of them. Is he going to be able to pick off all of them? No, there's just too many Zerglings and too many Broodlings as well. And Alive is going to have to retreat. And he's behind by 40 supply, and he's also running low on resources. So even though this Widow Mine has 15 kills, able to kill off 3 more drones, Scarlett is in a great position to win. She's ahead by 60 supply. We've got a lone Ultralist in here fighting against a whole pack of Marines and Marauders. But with so much splash damage, we've got 8 kills on this Ultralist. This Hero Ultralist has 11 kills, 12 before it finally goes down. And this Widow Mine has 15 kills. It's finally getting cleaned up by these Mutalisks just in the nick of time before it activates again. But this 4th base of Alive is not going to hold up against Broodlords. There's only a couple here. We've also got 1 Viking on the field, but we've got quite a few Corruptors. And Alive is going to have to tap out. So Scarlett is able to win Game 1 of this best of 5. We'll have to head over to Game 2 and see how Alive can bounce back, or whether or not Scarlett is going to take a commanding 2-0 lead.